Okay, Mystic Brew, and is it Kim Jong-un to Russia? Okay, the reason why Ben Fulford is on the little in the thumbnail there is because Benjamin Fulford put out an update today. It was like probably a little bit more than a minute and a half long, and in it he's claiming that according to high level talks between the United States and Russia and China, that they have decided that little Kim is going to go to Vladivostok, Russia. Now, you might not be familiar with where that is. This is on the on the Pacific side of Russia, and there's a part of Russia that goes so far south along the eastern coast that it actually shares a tiny bit of a border with North Korea. So actually, Kim could, drive right through. He doesn't have to transit another country to get into Russia. So, of course, now the source is Ben Fulford. I have been following Ben Fulford for years. He seemed to be, he was always hit or miss. But he seemed to have a few more hits in the past. Recently, he just seems more like entertainment. Based on stories of the day, and of course, his reports have gotten filled with a lot of links. So in many ways, he's kind of like saying his inside scoop on what the big stories are, or what he's saying the big story is, and it's already in the news. I don't remember as many links when he used to do it, so it seems like he's depending on regular news to kind of use for his narrative, which is certainly something. Hey, that's what we all really kind of do, is we take the news and we put our narrative, and you either agree with it or you don't. And I wouldn't be mentioning this if I didn't think it made a little bit of sense. So since I really hadn't heard about this, I picked up this video on Project Avalon by one of their longtime posters, and always somebody who will come out from stuff from left field. I mean, this is a guy who tends to post a lot of stuff from Sorchafal. Sorchafal is a place where you get supposedly like inside news from. I think it's some kind of limited alphabet hangout. Even if you do anagrams in the name, you get some pretty interesting stuff. You can get chaos out of Sorcha, especially if you take the R out. But anyway, so I just thought the story might be worth a quick mention, because who knows? I mean, right now, there's this big meeting tomorrow in Washington, D.C., and the whole Senate's, going to be meeting Donald Trump at the White House, President Donald Trump. So, it looks like a whole big thing is going. If this story has any legs, and if Kim Jong-un gives any legs, he'll cross over into Russia. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have a name here. Now, this is what's interesting. I mean, again, I listened to the name twice, and it sounded like they were saying that this man's name is Kim Han-sol. Okay? I'll comment on it in a second. Maybe you already got that. But supposedly Kim Han-sol is the son of Kim Jong-un's uncle. In other words, Kim Jong-un's father had a brother, and this other brother's son is this apparently Kim Han-sol. Now, the only thing, again, Seoul does not sound like a Korean name. Seoul does. I was married to a Korean. I know a little bit about the Korean culture. And so, I mean, again, just because I haven't heard of a particular Korean name doesn't mean it's not a Korean name. But Seoul doesn't. Seoul does. Han, yes. Kim, yes. So, but the funny thing is, okay, so we know the family name is Kim, so of course he'll be a Kim. But Han-sol, and the way I spelled it, which was Hansol. To me, it looks like Han Solo. So again, I probably could have Googled it, but again, this is a Benjamin Fulford story. For me to do a lot of research on a Benjamin Fulford story, it's not something I wanted to do. Let's put it that way. But I did get the name down, and so I just think that's an interesting story. And then, of course, we got the big thing there. And then tonight, okay, now it's almost midnight. It's 1:45 where I am on the East Coast, in the wonderful town of Floyd, Virginia. And Supposedly, these tests are to be conducted between midnight Pacific time, which is 3 hours or 3 hours and 15 minutes from now, and 6 a.m. in the morning. So when and if these tests, oh yeah, and it's going to be firing a Minuteman missile unarmed towards North Korea. That's what's in the works for tonight. So I mean, so I just thought between that story kind of being there, I got that from Zero Hedge, so I think that's going to be fairly reliable. And then this from Benjamin Fulford, and and to me, the poo was getting so deep, I almost thought maybe just to end this with a story. Now, this story is a little over a year old, and I'm not going to show the page. The last time I showed a picture of Jason Chaffetz, okay, I just showed a little picture of him, and then YouTube gives me a thing, a little copyright infringement here, but no problem. We'll just the person who was claiming the copyright reserves the right to monetize your video for themselves. Because, I mean, I don't monetize my videos. So I just deleted the video. At least I deleted it from YouTube. The same video is still available on my other place where I post, which is VidMe. But I think the harassment at YouTube has gone way up. Because I guess I should find out how all these other guys put all this material up and, whatever. I mean, I didn't know. Maybe I still have to put up one of those disclaimer things, but not everybody does. So anyway, I used to just get on and talk. And now I'm trying to get a little fancy, puts things up, and right away, it's like, oh, you can't do that. And of course, I mean, with natural or a real law, what obviously is not the right thing or wrong thing to do. And if you do something, you get the person kind of, hey, man, you're using my thing there. Hey, can I use it? I'm sorry. No, I'm doing it. I mean, you work it out humanly. I mean, not that I think that YouTube did anything heavy-handedly. They didn't put a strike against me, and they said they reserve the right to monetize it. I mean, it's not an unreasonable thing, but I was just a little frustrated that it just seems like I mean, it was on for a minute, but anyway. Oh yeah, so so a story that I thought just might go with what might be a full of shit story is a story that was covered by the BBC, I guess about a year and a half ago. It was in 2000. No, actually, almost 2 years ago, because it was in August of 2015. And it's called "Pay to Poo: Combating Open Defecation in India." And they were just saying that apparently there's about 1.1 billion people around the world, and about 1 billion people around the world defecate in the open. Well, it happened is apparently 590 million of those people that do this live in India. And there's actually a lot of cultural around this. I mean, we all think, oh, it was disgusting. Even places where they're offered a place, to poo, like the rest of us would think they don't want to. They're afraid of germs. Some of them think they have all kinds of like superstitions around it. So what they're doing, there's one place, and there's a slum, I guess in Ahmedabad. So what they're doing is they're trying to get kids to use public toilets by paying them. Oh yeah, here we go. We've made public toilets, but people still don't use them. Some people fear that there are witches inside or that their children will be kidnapped. These people come from small villages, so they're not used to the practice. And they go on, and of course, there's plenty of unsavory reports on what happens when there's all kinds of poo around and flies and food and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm trying to get here where they're just saying that the city council plans to scale up the project and might start paying adults to use public toilets. The idea is to understand that you are rewarded for good behavior. Once children start using the toilets, adults won't do it. Once children start using toilets, adults won't do it anymore. Children themselves will become the motivators. Okay. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting little story. Paid to poo, and I just for some reason I thought Paid to Poo and the Benjamin Fulford story might have a certain complementary fashion. So that's it for this Mystic Brew, and I'm working actually on a script for a pretty deep subject, which is programming and narrative, which is a big part of the mind control. And but I want to get that one right. So thank you all, and God bless you all. Please thank this video if you like it. The upvotes really help on either place, but in VidMe they kind of help get you up on the charts. And subscribers always help because they think that you're important. I'd like to thank the couple of subscribers that joined me this week. A few left me. I seem to have a very static position, but we'll try and change that. Maybe a few more videos a week might. So take care of yourselves, and most importantly, stay sane.